Hi, my name is Noel Davis with World Composting, and today we're going to look at the bin that has red wigglers and hamster bedding material. So this is the bin that has the used hamster bedding from my son's hamster, and we're throwing it into this bin. We let it sit in the basement for a couple weeks, and then we add it, and we're going to see how it looks and how it's doing. Now, it has been churning through this bedding material very quickly in this bin. It's been actually quite surprising, especially the paper bedding. The shavings are taking a little longer to break down, but that's not really surprising. They would just take longer in general. But so far, they are doing a really good job. Now, if I remember correctly, we added a feeding last time, and we only added it to one side. We're going to take a look and see how it looks now. It's been about 27 days or almost a full month, but still, they've been going through this very quickly. I have a little bit more bedding I can add if we need to, but it's just amazing how quickly they've been moving through this stuff and how good and healthy the worms look. So with that, let's go and take a look and see how the worms are doing. Alright, so here we are. Here's our last date of 11/19 and today's date of 12/16. And as you can see, I have that little dash there to show that we did do a feeding or added more bedding material. There's a worm here on the lid, as you can see right over there. Looks like there's a couple trails and there's a few more worms on that side. Looks fairly healthy in here as far as the water content. There's a little bit of moisture on the top, but it's not overly damp. Now, as far as the material, I don't remember which side we fed on, so just as a reminder, I am grabbing my other glove, my left glove instead of right. You can see some of these little plastic pieces in here from the hamster. I'll get these out later, but you know, they still are in there. And let's just go ahead and dig on this side, right over here. This feels pretty moist, and look at all the worms in here. I mean, you can just see that first scoop here, there's tons of worms, nice and healthy. Let's move this back a little bit like that. Does feel a little bit overly moist in here, but you can just see there's tons of worms. They look all really, really good, especially in that top section there. But just like last time, I bet every scoop that I do in here is going to have worms in it. So we're going to move those back over. We're going to just slowly work our way through the system. Again, more worms. They seem to be at the bottom rather than the top, but that's where the moisture is, and there might be some more food there. But again, they all look very, very healthy, just like last time. And I have to say, I'm really sorry. There also seems like there's still some bedding in here. You can still see it. So this is the side we must have fed on, because you can see that's paper bedding over there. So they are definitely still working at this a little bit, but they've really done a good job of turning this. This was all bedding last time. Oh, actually, hold on here. Oh, found a cocoon. Look at this. See if I can put this up right into your face here. Look at that. Right there. There's a cocoon right there. So, yeah, they're definitely multiplying in here. I think that they're really healthy. They're big. I mean, this is what they're meant to be eating. I mean, let's be honest here. They are meant to be eating this type of food, of waste from animals and things like that. I mean, that's why they're also called a manure worm as well. But you can just see all this material, just every scoopful looks incredibly good. There's actually, another cocoon right here. This one might be a little bit more visible. I'm slowly moving it up. There we go. Very nice cocoon right there. I see another one actually right over there as well. So they're starting to multiply like crazy in here. This is what these worms are meant to just go through, and every handful has worms in them. Every single handful. I mean, this entire. What's different is this is a bedding, but it's also just food, and that's what's very different from this material compared to other materials I use. I mean, I'm just every time I flip it over, there's more and more worms. They all look healthy. I mean, you can see that this is the perfect environment for them, and it's not too wet in here really either. I thought it might be a little bit. It was a little wet on that side over there, but this side seems perfect. I mean, it flakes apart, but you can just see there's worms everywhere in here. I mean, this is exactly what you want to see your material look like. Yes, there's some shavings left over, but you can just see there's just this can support. When people say worms can multiply or double in value, or the quantity every 3 months. This is with the material you need to have them do that, I think. You're not going to get this with other materials. You can just see, I mean, even in these corners and everything, I mean, like it just looks like great. It's just great material in here. I mean, it really is. This is a stick in there. That's still being worked on, but I mean, like it, you know, there's even worms around that. And they're just, this is exactly what they mean or exactly what they talk about. Another cocoon over here. I don't think I saw this one before, but we'll see. But you know, lots of cocoons. Worms are multiplying. They're trying to spread out. That's why they're on the lid. They're searching for more food, which means it might be getting a little light in here. So what we're going to do is we're going to actually get another feeding this time. There's still a little bit of bedding left in here, but you know what? I want to just keep this going. This is going so well, and I've got a small feeding because my son opened up his cage at one point and accidentally had some fall on the floor that I cleaned up. So now one thing I am going to get better with here is I actually have a mask to wear while I'm dumping this bedding in there, because there's a lot of dust with it, and it's really, really bad to breathe that stuff in. So I've got my mask on, so you're going to hear me a little bit muffled, just like that. And as I said, this is a very small feeding. It's really not a whole lot, but this is, there we go. And as you can see, there's dust in the air, but that's what the mask is for. So there we go. There's a small feeding in here. I don't think I'm going to add any really moisture. I don't think it's going to need it. As you can tell, this has already been sitting for a while. We're just going to cover this up and let the worms go to town on it. We'll see what happens when we come back. I think we might have to check a little sooner than that. I think a month might be a little bit long. Hopefully we'll have another. I'm supposed to clean up the hamster cage this weekend, hopefully, with my son. So hopefully we'll have another feeding ready to go. But this is looking really good. I'm really impressed with how well they're going through it. But as I said, this is really their optimal food, you know. So we're going to put the lid back on here. And actually, because we did add food, I am going to add that little notch here. And I say food, I say that just as we added something, because this isn't really food. It's, well, it is, but it's bedding, really, or hamster bedding. No actual food. And I don't know if you can see here, we've got little mites on here too. A little bit, but that's okay. So with that, thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed. I'm going to take off my mask now. It looks like the dust is settled. And if you have any questions or comments, let me know down below. And let me know what you think about this. This looks like a really good way to get rid of used hamster or guinea pig or any of those type of, you know, rodents that you might have in your house, their type of bedding material. This would be a great way to get rid of it and use this. I wouldn't use it in my plantings where I have edible food, but definitely for trees and ornamental plants, this would be something really good to have to get rid of it instead of just throwing it in the trash. So thank you for watching. And again, if you have any questions or comments, please leave them down below.